Hello, everybody, and welcome to yet another episode of Witches and Wine. This is a show where we talk about witchy stuff and we drink wine. Clink and drink. Clink and drink. And whatever you got there, clink and drink. And we're getting t-shirts made, Dusty, and we will give you credit because you're the one that came up with clink and drink, so. All right, so I am your hostess with the mostest, Lola Stardust, and this is my partner in crime, Violinist Stardust. And before we get started with our beautiful special guest, I'm going to turn this over to him, and he's going to talk about the wine we're drinking tonight. Take it away.
Thank you. Hi, guys. Tonight, got a special bottle for special people. It's called Bishop's Ring. It is a very exclusive one-off wine. Made by one of the most famous winemakers in all of Napa. We're not allowed to use his name. It's part of the contract for us to get this wine through my job. Most of this gentleman's wines start between $130 and $140, going all the way up to about $800 a bottle. This bottle you can get for $50 to $60 if you're lucky enough to find it. Really rich Napa flavors, big blackberry notes, a little bit of tobacco, a little bit of leather.
Leather?
It sounds fair, tastes amazing on Napa Cab.
I'm not drinking it, so.
Yes. Drink it now. Take your leather.
It is a very big wine, so if you're gonna drink it, give it at least an hour decant, bare minimum. I drank it for about an hour and a half, and it's drinking phenomenally right now. Yeah, I know.
Woo!
The gentleman who I believe makes this wine, most of his wines score between 97 and 100 points on the scale. So, it's a very exclusive deal that we were able to take advantage of, and we were very happy when he called us to offer this juice. So, I'm going to go ahead and step out now, and we're going to bring Islene in, and then we'll get started. See you guys next time.
Thank you. I love you. Can you pour me some of that?
No, that's okay. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. No, it's all his.
All right, we're gonna welcome my coven sister and my sidekick, Islene. Hi, Islene. She is the Martin to my Lewis. All right. She really is. All right. So
Tuition namer.
let's go ahead. Oh, that's fine.
She wants to be right here, and she wants to
She's seen Martin for Jerry Lewis.
So let's go ahead and what is that? Is that a shadow? Okay, yeah. So let's go ahead and turn this over to.
Creature coming to claim your eternal soul.
No, I've already had that taken. So let's go ahead and introduce our beautiful guest that is just looking so lovely. Hi, Bella. Why don't you go ahead and tell us who you are and what you do?
Hey, I'm Belladonna Laveau. I'm the Archpriestess of the Aquarian Tabernacle Church and Dean of Woolston-Steen Theological Seminary. Lola, thank you for having me on the show. It's so lovely to be back.
Yes. This time we
I
will
have
break.
a limited amount of wine this time.
You know, for those who have not seen those episodes, our coven broke Bella. We broke Bella. That's all I can say. And there was a part of me that felt really bad, but there was a part of me that was kind of proud. I was like, we broke Belladonna. So it was, I couldn't help it. It's a fun show. We have our moments. So Bella is one of my mentors, and so I always like having her on here. We've known each other for a while. She's not just someone who I go, oh, look at her. She's a friend, and so it's really lovely to have you on the show. I'm glad you're here. So I want to go ahead and start right off with today's Friday the 13th, which is so apropos that you are on this show for that. I think that's awesome. I know you had a radio show this morning that you were on, and I actually listened to it this morning as I was laying down in my pajamas.
Thank you.
So I thought that was really cool. And so we're kind of going to talk a little bit about the same thing you did this morning, is talking about the Yule event that's coming up with ATC and the Psychic Fair, that connection. Can you let us know what's going on with that and when?
Well, I am so excited because we have finally, this has been a brainchild of mine that has been simmering on the back of the stove for quite a while. And we have finally got it off the ground. The Seattle Psychics Association, which is an effort to bring together psychics that are established professionals so that we can help them make more of a success. By working together, you can create more of a market and help people find you and stuff like that. So an association is really helpful for the professionals themselves to get more training and to work together with each other and create a community. It's also helpful for the community because they can find the right psychic. Not every psychic's the same. It's like doctors. Not every doctor's the same, or teacher. You have to find the one that fits you. So I'm so excited to finally make this opportunity available to our community. And the very first event that we're having is next weekend on Yule. So we are having the ATC Yule in concert with the Seattle Psychics Association weekend, and Oberon Zell has decided to come and be the Holly King for us. I'm so excited.
That's so exciting. That's exciting.
I had 3 different Santa suits for him. I said, do you want to wear red one or green? He's going to wear the green one because, a green Santa suit, you don't always see that. It's so nice, too.
Oh, my God. He's going to be the perfect Santa. That's amazing. We would totally be there, but we have our Coven Yule. But are you guys going to be still fishing or doing anything that we could watch?
Oh, I imagine we'll be doing some live Facebooking from the event, especially while Oberon's there being Santa Claus. I mean, and it's right in downtown Ballard, okay? So just north of Seattle, and it's in a park where Santa's going to be underneath this beautiful brick arch that's topped with a bell right in the middle of the gardens. It is a gorgeous scene. And the Seattle Psychics Association has created little heart-shaped woven baskets in celebration of Ballard's sister city in Norway that is called
Bergen.
Yeah, Bergen.
You almost made wine come out of my nose. Hey! Not hard to do, but
it's really not.
Anyway.
So they're going to hang the little baskets in the trees because that's what they do in Norway.
Oh, that's so cool.
It's been so much fun because Seattle Psychics Association has coordinated with the town of Ballard to bring this thing to their community, and they've advertised it on their neighborhood pages and stuff. So we're really excited to get to serve the town of Ballard, the city of Ballard, with a actual Yule celebration on Yule, December 21st from 2 to 4.
That's awesome.
And then there's a big psychic fair right across the street, and that's going on all weekend. There's going to be about between 15 to 20 psychics, and people are still signing up. And there's going to be some vending for last minute Yule gifts. And we're just going to have the whole weekend. It's 10 to 6 on Saturday and noon to 5 on Sunday.
Awesome. And Ballard is, I used to live over in the Seattle area. Ballard's perfect for this kind of stuff. I think Ballard, that neighborhood, that whole vibe is very friendly, I think, towards that kind of pagan-y stuff. So I think that's awesome. At the psychic fair, are they just going to be? Is it just going to be kind of like an expo kind of thing where they're just going to be tables lined up or booths? Are they going to get to sell their wares or whatnot?
That's a beautiful picture of what to expect.
What to expect at the psychic fair.
Well, the yoga, we're doing this in a yoga studio. So the yoga studio is where we're going to put the tables in the place where people would normally work out. And so there's little tray tables so that people can do their different readings. They'll all be set up kind of beside each other. There's some VIP rooms in the back. Oberon will be reading in one of the VIP rooms.
Oh, nice.
And there'll be a body worker there. And then the ATC is going to set up their table for vending and bring a bunch of magical gifts.
Oh, nice. Are you going to be doing any psychic stuff? Any divinations, anything?
I have not planned on doing divination. If there's somebody who's like, oh, Bella, you know, this is just, you know, I will do it. But I really want to let the other people have I'm there to run the event. So I'm not really trying to be a reader.
Okay.
I will, though, if it's really important to somebody, I'm not going to turn them down. But that's not what I'm there to do.
And
one of the points of this is that we can't have prosperity in our community until we make jobs. And so one of the things Bella and I have been doing heavy for the past about a decade is finding a way to put pagans to work.
Which, you know, we've been doing that with Keen. We've been getting people to go to online tarot and the school employees, teachers. We have a publishing house and other things like that. But I'm really trying to make it more lucrative, more possible for people to make money in the pagan community because, well, as leaders, I feel like we're responsible for the prosperity and the general state of happiness and well-being for pagans. And it costs money to get along in this world. So that's what we're trying to make balance.
And I mean, what a wonderful thing to make money out of your spirituality, you know, make money being a witch. I mean, who would have ever thunk that? Yeah. But it's possible. It is possible. And I think what's great is having the connections with you and the ATC and seeing that it can be done. And we really appreciate that because it motivates me on my, because it was really hard. I've been doing tarot for over 20 years, but I've never charged for it until the last, I'd say, year and a half. And that was a whole different feeling. And so I know being in school and taking the tarot class, I understood it, but I remember you talked about, you know, it's, you know, the energy exchange and that it's okay to ask for money or some sort of energy exchange because you are providing a service. And that was a really big hurdle for me, was to ask for money to do a reading. Now I'm very comfortable with it, but it took me a while. So I appreciate it, me personally.
You know, I don't believe that you should do a spell for people. Okay. So like, I don't think that somebody should come over to your house and they say, I want this person to fall in love with me. And you go in the other room and you do a spell and you come out and you give them some token and they pay you $150. I don't think that's very ethical. Okay. Yeah. But I have spent 30 years of magical knowledge, learning and growing and learning how to counsel, learning how to help people through. I talked to a woman about her husband had a walk-in today and it's completely destroyed their marriage. And I talked to her about possible ways of fixing it. We get to minister to people. This is how we minister. And somewhere in our heads, we've been told that it's not okay for us to be affluent. It's not okay for us to have money. It's not okay for us to have nice things. And it's just not true. I believe it's like the Christian's way of tricking us into not being affluent, powerful people, you know? And I just reject that whole mindset. And I have been a professional witch, meaning I have been a self-employed witch for a decade and maybe a little bit longer than that, 11, 12 years, a decade. And I have lived full time off of doing tarot readings and lived well. I've traveled all over. It's really difficult to make an impact as a witch or a priestess, a clergy member, when you have to go to a 9-to-5 every day. It just really takes all of the wind out of your sails. You need an income if you're going to be a full-time priestess. And tarot reading is the best way that I can see that you can help other people, minister to people who you normally wouldn't be able to minister to, and make a really big difference for people and make a living.
Well, it's the same concept of, we're not licensed psychologists, but if you think about what we do,
Spiritual counseling.
it's spiritual counseling, and people pay people for counseling. And there are things that I've learned in my craft and from others that I need to, for me personally, I know that I need to understand that what I do for these people is helping them, and they would have gone to a psychologist or a counselor and had no problem giving money, had no problem handing money over or whatnot, or writing a check or whatever. And I need to be like, you know what? I'm doing you a service in that way too. I'm guiding you. And
I was just gonna say it's important to note that these two things are not mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
You can totally still go see your your psychologist and still like tarot readings from someone too. Like
absolutely.
They do not substitute for each other.
No.
Absolutely. They are not substitute. They do go together. And I have told people that they need to go to a therapist before. I've told people that I can't be their therapist. And it is also, some people are afraid to go to the therapist. They're afraid that might mean that they're crazy. And when they come to a spiritual counselor, they can talk about things that they wouldn't talk to anybody else about, and learn and find a way to feel better and get some actual reflection to know that they're not crazy, or maybe they do need it. Because I have told people that you need to go to therapy.
Yes.
Sometimes it's a nice little stepping stone to finally make the step to getting the therapy that you need, so that you can.
I've had to tell clients before that they may need to go to a psychiatrist.
Or they might need medication, or But also, some people just need to be told that they're experiencing something that's normal.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely, and they just need to hear that.
Yeah.
So so this psychic fair, is this going to be a regular thing? Is it going to be a yearly thing? Is it going to be a monthly thing? What are your plans?
So we are trying to make it a monthly thing. It's brand new. We're still working out the spot and all that kind of stuff, but it's really going to be dependent on how well it works, how many people come, how much the psychics like it. It's our first event. The plan is that we do it every month. We do it in coordination with an event like an ATC ritual or some kind of event. This is not an ATC driven thing. Seattle Psychics Association is its own thing. There's more than witches there. There's psychics and metaphysicians and voodoo and all kinds of different people. And it's not meant to be an ATC endeavor.
Okay. Thank you for clearing that up, because I was confused too. I was like, is this ATC? But you're just contributing your gift to this whole association.
It's a Belladonna Laveau endeavor. But but this is not an ATC. There are other people on the board. There's Nimmer, Nimmer. There's other people. Roman works with us. A wonderful psychic named Uma works with us. Una.
Did you see? We had Roman on a couple weeks ago. Did you see that?
Isn't he brilliant? Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I watched it on purpose because Roman was there.
Oh my God! I'm like, you're coming back, because the hour we did with him, I'm just like, there's so much more.
Oh, I know. So Roman was like, Bella, I'll do a card reading for you, and I was like, oh, you will? Because I won't get my cards read by just anybody. I've had my cards read before and had people, like when I worked at the big psychic fair in Atlanta, I got like upset. People can say things that it's called red magic. It gets in your head and it messes with you, right? And so I'm very particular about who I let do readings for me. But Roman.
Yeah. I've had a few of my coven mates get readings by him at Spring Mysteries and Sickle. I believe at Sickle. I've never had one, so that is my goal.
Either, but the last two festivals I went to, like, that was one of my main goals. So third time's the charm, right?
Yeah.
Third time's the charm. I want the bone reading, like, that's really bad.
Yeah. Well, he's always busy.
He's always busy.
He's always got a line.
He's always busy. Well, the good ones are, you have to wait.
Yeah.
But he is brilliant. Whenever he talks or anything, I make sure to pay attention.
Oh yeah,
He's
yeah.
obviously connected, yeah.
Oh, you think? I mean, like I've met a lot of people that I just like, wow, and he's one that it's not even about wow. It's like just when I walked by him at festivals, I'm like, look, hey, like I'm just taken, and I look, I'm like, oh, it's Roman, yeah. It's
Yeah.
Roman. He's amazing. He's amazing.
He
So,
really
well,
is.
I'm really excited that you guys have this going on, and I personally think we need one over here in Spokane. I don't even know where to begin. Maybe that could be a project or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's been in my mind. It's been in my mind. Maybe we can talk later about how to, because I would love to have something like that here in Spokane. So
I would love to help you.
yeah, I think that'd be great. All right, so this time of year, we're looking at Christmas and Yule. This is such a, I was driving today and the traffic is just hectic as hell. I live in the city, and it's just everyone is rushing around, and I realize why people get so stressed out. And I love what we're going to talk about here, about the actual spirit of Christmas, or the spirit of Yule, and what it's about, because it is so hopeful, and I think so many people forget why we do the traditions that we do. So I wanted to talk to you about Diamystica. Now, I'm not going to lie, I had never heard of Diamystica until I went to the school, till I went to Wiccan Seminary. I'd never heard of that. I know, I mean, I knew what Yule was, and but the whole story of Demeter and whatnot, it really, like, it just resonated with me so strongly, and I almost felt foolish for not knowing about it. I was like, what is this Diamystica? What are they having us study here? What is, and because
made it all up.
yeah, right. Because I'm not a baby pagan, but I am kind of a baby Wiccan. Because I've always been pagan and a witch, but I never started really getting into Wicca, knowing that I was practicing Wicca until I joined the school, really, and then it really resonated with me, like, oh, I am Wiccan, So there's a lot of stuff that still was really new to me, but that's what I love about the craft, is you always learn new stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So can you tell us the story? How do you want to do this? Do you want to talk about the Yule into Diamystica? Take it away.
Just push my start button. Just push my start button.
And start. And
there you go. So
I went for the nose.
One of my passions is bringing back the understanding that the magic is right here. The gods are right here. They have never gone anywhere. We've just forgotten who they are. We've not been told by our parents. So anytime you see weird things that are obviously not related to Christianity in a holiday, it's pagan. The Easter eggs and the rabbits don't lay eggs. Why are there rabbits and eggs, kind of thing. Same thing with Santa Claus and the Christmas tree.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
So we've got the Christmas tree, we got Santa Claus, we got Jesus. It's like, what are y'all doing, guys? There's obviously something missing there. So if you overlay paganism on it, you know that you've got the Holly King and then Jesus is the Oak King. That's pretty clear, right? But where's the goddess? Where's the goddess? We find the goddess cold and alone in the dark. The Holly King dies and the Oak King is reborn, but the goddess never dies. She's always alive, right? So the evergreen tree worship. The evergreen tree represents the goddess out in the cold searching for the lost child, the lost daughter. Demeter, I see it as Demeter and Persephone because I'm Greek. But there are other deities that you could also find this mythology that it represents. But you find Demeter out in the cold, sad and forlorn, missing her child. You bring her into the house. You decorate her with lights to represent fireflies or maybe pollinators, stinging, pollinators, right? And you put vines on her in the shape of garlands.
Mm-hmm.
You put balls on her to represent fruit.
Mm-hmm.
You put the star or the angel on top because it's the beginning of the season of air and it is the exalted time. Stars, midnight, the time of midnight, stars in the sky, finding Demeter in the dark under the star, or angels, which are air deities, air beings, air elementals, messenger deities.
Yeah.
So then we put presents underneath the tree to represent our gratitude for her. And all this has been lost. So we've got this crazy commercial thing where we buy everybody gifts and we put it under this tree and we don't understand the tree. But the tree represents the goddess, and the decorating of the tree is creating an altar to the goddess. So your Pentecostal grandmother has a altar to the goddess right in her living room, and they're just living it up.
They have no idea.
They have no idea.
Yeah,
but now all the pagans do, and so they can go to their Baptist home, of their, and they can be like, they can feel at home. They don't feel like they have to be unhappy at Christmas. They can celebrate with their family, knowing that the mysteries are right there. You just can't see them if you're not supposed to. So let's talk about gift giving.
Yeah.
So I really do not appreciate the materialism and the commercialism of Yule. It is the time when you're expressing your gratitude to people, right? You have spent this whole year making successful choices and hopefully growing in a positive way in life. And you want to express gratitude for the people that helped you along the way. That's a pagan incentive right there. That's what pagans do. That's all about this time of year and the runic calendar and the astrological energy of the year. We are expressing gratitude for all the things the gods have given us.
Yes.
And so our ritual that we do for the Diamystica is we bring a gift that's a recycled gift. We find something in our homes that is a treasure, like, a grandfather clock hanging on the wall, or, like Dusty just got me these really nice gold tarot cards, but that'd be a nice gift, and something that you had that you used to love that you no longer need, or it's just been sitting there collecting dust and somebody else needs to love it. You clean it up all nice, you put it all in a nice box, you take it and you give it to the goddess, you put it at the feet of the tree in honor of Demeter, or whatever goddess you see as the mother in her grief. Then Santa Claus comes in, you tell Santa Claus, the Holly King, your Christmas wish. He pulls a random gift out from under the tree of gratitude, and you open it up and it is a divination for how your wish is, and it is such good magic. I love sitting around with 30 people in a room and everybody's Christmas wish gets pulled out from underneath the tree. It's pretty incredible magic, but it's also not financially burdensome.
No. And that's what's so important, because we lose sight, because it's almost like this competition with others, like what kind of gifts you gave your kids or what kind of gifts you received. And I have certain friends who will every year ask me, what did you get for Christmas? What did you get for Christmas? And I'm like, and then I'll say, and that's not important to me. I mean, I could get, as long as I don't care what I get for Christmas.
I got an awesome coffee mug, and it's fabulous because it keeps my coffee warm for hours.
Yes, I remember one of my favorite gifts was my mom got me this lovely jewelry box, and they engraved, and it was really simple, and it was beautiful, and it was and that was that's all I got, and I was like. And I should say, that's all I got. That's what I got. And it meant so much to me. But I have people who are like, well, I got, the best of this in electronics, or I got the best of this in clothing, or, and it's almost like a competition.
Well, and you see children now with this sort of like conveyor belt mentality. Open the present.
Pass it on. Yeah. Yes.
Open
Looking
the
for
present.
yes.
Next.
Thank
Open the present.
the goddess we have not raised our children that way.
So we all take turns and watch each other open gifts.
So do we. Yeah, we do too.
Yeah.
And so the thing I love about the Diamystica or Diamystica, however, I've always said Diamystica, is it made me really appreciate the fact that my whole life I've been honoring the goddess without even realizing it. And then I start to reflect on all those years. My favorite thing to do around this time of year is just to decorate the tree. And everyone else would get so like stressed out, like, oh, we gotta put the tree up and we gotta decorate it. And I'm like, that's the best part. And every time I do it, even when I was a child, there was this. I felt it. I felt that I was honoring her, and I didn't realize it until 4 years ago or whatever that I've been doing it this whole time. And so now that it's so in my brain, oh my God, it is a sacred act when I put an ornament on my tree, and when I do this because I feel it, and that's what I love about it. I think it's wonderful that it woke me up to all. I've been doing this for so long that I didn't even realize it.
I'm so glad that I could share that with you. I have some more if you would like to hear it.
Yes, absolutely. Please. I'm gonna fill up my wine glass. The cancer is right over here.
The Yule log. Would you like to know what the Yule log's all about?
Yes, please. Yes, I love this.
So the goddess, when she was found at the well, when Demeter was found at the well in her mourning, grieving for looking for her daughter, they took her to King Helios and the house of the Amulpidai. And Queen Metnaira had a baby. The baby's name was Demophon. So they gave Demeter Demophon to care for. And she was consoled by the child.
Yep.
And she decided that she would make him her child, and she did a ritual of immortality to make the child immortal. Now, the mother caught her in this act and thwarted the immortality. You know, we don't want to be immortal as humans. It's not such a good thing. We like to reincarnate. We get bored and we get tired of shit and we wear out our bodies and we want a new one. That's how we are. We're a disposable community.
Yeah. What is it? One of the favorite things, I don't mean to interrupt, but one of the favorite things I heard you say once was when we're in Summerland and we're resting, then we get tired and we want to come back and have sex and eat hamburgers. We miss that stuff.
Yeah, we miss it. We start going, oh my God, I haven't had chocolate pudding and I can't even remember what it tastes like. I want some chocolate pudding. Then you start watching people having sex before you reincarnate. This is, boys and girls, this is how you get into the body. You start getting curious and you start watching. And when you start really liking what you're seeing, you get really drawn into the sexual act. Okay. You start paying close attention. You're like, and then all of a sudden you are entrapped back into your mother's womb, and she's impregnated. And this is why you never want to talk about or see your parents having sex again. Because it's what got you here in the first place. You're like, oh no.
Clink and drink to that. Clink and drink.
Clink and drink. So the Yule log, so the magic of the Yule log that we learn from the story is that she burned away his pain and suffering, his misery, his mortality, the things that weigh him down, sadness, fear. She burned those away. So the ritual of the Yule log, let all acquaintance be forgotten, never brought to mind, that you put your pain of all the lessons that you've learned into the Yule log, all the sadness, all the dread, regret, depression, whatever you got going on, you put it into the Yule log and you burn it away. And that burns away the things that make you age, and you don't carry those over into the new year. And that's why all of us look so young, folks.
Right? I had a friend I worked with. I used to work at Hastings. I don't know if you know what Hastings are, but it was a music book video store. It was one of my favorite jobs. I got to talk about music, movies, and books all day. And I had a coworker, and he looks at me, and he found out that I was in my 40s. This was in my early 40s, and he goes, "It must be all that witchy juju voodoo stuff you do. Do you bathe in baby's blood?" And I'm like, maybe. Anyway.
Charge of the Goddess and Mary Kay, right?
Of course.
The Charge of the Goddess does help. And then
Yes.
that Yule magic, at Yule, you literally do immortality magic, time magic, those kinds of things to keep the aging process. You don't want to take all of that pain and hurt and anger across into the new year. You want to
Yes.
let it go.
Well, and I mean, and that's kind of what, that's what happened to Demeter. I mean, when you look at her in her grieving process, they couldn't even tell she was a goddess because she was so forlorn, and
Sad.
sad. The wine's getting to me. And she aged and she was hunched over, and I feel that was so symbolic of what grieving and what all of that does, because it literally weighs you down and hunches you over. And I know for me, just the past few months, having what's going on with my dad and whatnot, I feel there were times I'd look in the mirror and I'm like, oh my God, like I aged so much, and I'm like, no, I don't want it.
Burn it away. It'll be okay. Burn it away.
I have been doing that. So, but I do have my, what do you call them? The wisdom highlights?
Wisdom highlight.
I do have on my gray that's coming out, the wisdom highlights.
Because they're wisdom highlights. They're very wide.
I'm very wise.
I had all my wisdom highlights magically removed by my beautiful hairdresser.
I know. Look at that little Marilyn Monroe action that you just did. You're all like,
You got the Betty Page going on over there, girl. I really like that hair.
What, the gray?
The Betty Page look.
Oh,
You look adorable.
Yes, I got bangs too. Thank you. I'm starting to feel prettier. So, but it's been hard. But yes, it does do that, and we don't want to drag that with us. And that's why I do like this time of year too, because it is a time to let go of that stuff. Let go of that heavy. Let go of those things that make us mortal. You know, that's what mortal muggles feel, is that, and that's why that's what we're talking about when she tries to make. I never can say the name. Demophoon. Mortal. You know, everyone or immortal, burning away that part of us that makes us not live forever, and we can live. We do live forever when we get rid of that. Even if our bodies come back. I also very much believe that even when this body dies, what I create today in memories for my children and whatnot is my lasting legacy. That lives on forever. I'm going to live on forever within my family, my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren. That's really, to me, that is so comforting to know that.
Also, you're a spiritual being having a human physical experience, and the pain and suffering is part of it. We have to remember that we are the race of stone people. They had a golden race where there was never any suffering and never any pain, and they just kind of laid around and decided that they weren't having fun anymore until they all died off. We are the result of experiments, and what the gods have found is that unless we have suffering and resistance in our lives, we don't achieve anything, and we don't feel good about achieving things. When we don't face hardship and overcome it, we get bored. So love your challenges, because, you know, dad was always like, it builds character. And I'm like, I don't know what that means, and I think I got enough of it. You know? But now that I'm older, I'm like, yeah, okay, I got it. I see that. But you can't hold on to the hurts, you know. everybody's just trying to fight their own battles, and sometimes they pull your hair or, you know, hit you in the shin with their efforts, and it hurts.
Yeah.
And you just have to know that everybody's struggling, everybody's going through their stuff, and you've chosen to go through the stuff you're choosing to go through, and it's not really anybody's fault, and just let it go.
Well, and I'm finding a lot of humor, and I realize that, and this happens to me over and over every year, is I used to think that everyone has these gifts that are so magical, and all I do is just make people laugh, and
line to our own
yeah, and I realized, wait a minute, you know, like,
sometimes you need other people to pull it out.
yes, hello, and I'm like, that is such a gift, and so in these times of trial and tribulation, I sometimes am a little guilty, but I have to laugh at the things that are going on with my father. He's got memory loss so bad that it's sad, but at the same time, there are times when it's really funny because he forgets that he's eaten 3 maple bars already, and he goes into the kitchen, and it's the first time he's seen a maple bar in the kitchen, and he's like, "Oh, maple bar," and I'm like, "Dad," and then we just watch him, and we're like, "You know what? Fuck it, let him have that maple bar."
You know, I used to take care. I used to work in a convalescent home, and I worked on the Alzheimer's ward. I was a certified nurse's assistant, and this old couple stayed in the same room, and they would wake up, not remember who they were. Who's this man in my room? Oh my God. And then by the end of the, they would watch each other, and they would end up like holding hands by lunch. And by the end of the day, by the end of the day, somebody's wanting to talk to me in the car. I'm like, no, I'm in an interview.
Yeah.
They would be like hugging and cuddling, and if you want to go talk to her, you can. And they've fallen in love all over again, and then they start back in the morning not knowing who each other are, and the process started all over again. I thought it was beautiful and so romantic.
It was 51st Dates.
Yeah,
that movie.
51st Dates.
Or The Notebook.
It was 51st Dates. Yeah.
And if you can find the beauty in it, because the beauty I have found in my what's going on with my dad is that my dad was a grumpy old mother effer in the beginning, and now he's like a child again, and everything is kind of new and cool to him, and so he's in his, and they're saying it's not just stroke, they think there's some dementia going on, but in this he is coming right out and saying, well, you're a witch, honey. He's never said that to me. So there is something in him that is, I can't explain it, but he's like, well, you're a witch, Lola. Or you should know this. You're a witch.
Let me just tell you, I don't want to brag on you, but as I was your teacher for 4 years.
Yeah.
Okay. Yep. At Woolstenstein Theological Seminary, that's wiccanseminary.edu. Winter classes start January 6th. Best online education in witchcraft you're going to find anywhere.
Yeah.
Lola has this very special magic called magnetism. She's the only person that could get Bella to come to the party. Is that not true?
That is true, and that is my magic. I never realized it until you pointed that out.
Well, the beautiful thing about working with a coven is you don't know what's special about you when you're all by yourself. But when you get with other witches, you can see what they do, and they can see what you do, and you can tell each other.
Yeah.
That's Isleen being the what is it, Dean, James Dean to your Martin, whatever, I don't know, but
she's Dean Martin to my Jerry Lewis.
Yeah, and she is too. I can totally understand that because I also taught Isleen, and by the way, Isleen, we found all the dolls.
I have no idea what that means. You're going to have to tell me that later.
She knows what it means. She knows what it means. I'm so upset, but we found them. We found them. We have them. So, yeah, Yule. But your magic, Lola, is infectious and not in that bad kind of way. But You have such a joy that you just make the whole room laugh, and it lights up the whole room. You're just a joy to be around, and it's always fun to get to talk to you. I always love to be in your presence.
You really helped me come to terms with that when you would say that, because I always felt like I didn't have any really, like, you have some witches, like you, or like when my husband first met you, he went to the first Spring Mysteries, and you walked into a room, and he was like, oh my God, like he just was blown over by Belladonna's energy. And there's people that do that. They walk into a room, and you're like, oh, and I always wanted to be that. I wanted to be that witch that walked into a room, and I acquired ISIS wings. The ISIS wings, yes. and so when you were telling me that, you get people to come to the party, you get people, they gravitate towards you, and so that meant a lot. But this isn't about me, even though I don't mind it being. But let's get back to you. So what do you think about me? No, just
I think you're friendly. I think you're everybody's friend, and you're just wonderful. And red is so your color. You could be Snow White. You're like Snow White, all grown up.
I'm eating more than apples. But anyway,
well, we find out what she actually did with the huntsman.
Naughty girl. So is there anything else before we talk about a couple other things? Is there anything else you want to add about the Diamystica, the Yule? What?
We want to talk about the Diamystica and Spring Mysteries. If you want to learn the Diamystica and you want to understand what we're talking about with all of these different in-depth awarenesses about the movements of the gods, there is no better place. Spring Mysteries has been in operation. This is its 36th year. I think it's 35th year. 35th year. And it is the reestablishment of the Eleusinian mysteries on the earth. Demeter came to the ATC and asked us to bring her mysteries back to the earth. She has taught us the different things that she wants us to reveal, and we prayerfully bring this to you every year. It is an iconic festival. If you are pagan, you owe it to yourself to come to this. I cannot explain to you the depth of intensity in which you experience the gods, but Wendy Rule said, I understand why you can't explain it. It's full embodiment. And nobody can understand that until they really witness it. So you just owe it to yourself to come. It's a powerful, powerful event. You learn things about the gods that are not written in books that nobody can tell you. Very personal, very, very deep connected magics that make you part of the story itself. And you just can't duplicate that anywhere. So I very much encourage you to come. Springmysteries.com. Early bird registration ends January 15th. So you can still get the best ticket prices. It's at Easter weekend. Every year it's at Easter weekend. It's a 4-day festival. It starts on Thursday, ends on Sunday.
Yeah.
If you can buy extra days, but I don't recommend you do that the first time. Thursday through Sundays will be all you can handle the first time. It's really intense.
So, and don't do it, because when I first went to Spring Mysteries, I already had signed up. I mean, I was part of the school and whatnot, and I had signed up. My very first Spring Mysteries, I signed up to do a workshop, and I did that I think I did it a couple years in a row, and then I got on staff and did some more stuff. I think this year I'm going to tell you, Bella, I've never experienced Spring Mysteries without being on staff. And so I think this year when we go, I think me and my husband might just kind of like lay low and just be pilgrims, because I've never really experienced it that way. Although there are still things I want to do to help, because I can't help but want to help. But yeah, I suggest anyone that goes for the first time, just go and experience it. Because if they see a talent in you, you're going to start being on the staff. I'm just saying.
Now we provide opportunities for people of talent and magic to become stellar and to step out and do amazing things. And Lola and Isleen just happened to be on that list.
My bracelet, my Yule bracelet broke today. I look at that. It broke today.
Look at that. I still have mine. I wear mine all the time. I've got some other ones here too.
Bless your heart.
Yeah,
Well,
I
Isleen,
do
that
all
means
the
that
time.
you fulfilled that promise to yourself, doesn't it?
Yeah. And then I've got our Pina Colada Club, which we'll tell you about that later. That's a club that we actually formed at Spring. So, yeah, early registration ends January 15th. Is that what you said? January 15th. I also want to talk to you about our affiliation. Our coven has affiliated with the ATC. We're official, right? We're
official. Official.
It's officially official.
You got your government number.
Yes, we do. So as a coven affiliating with the ATC, can you, I know for us, and I'll tell you after you explain what that means and what kind of service you provide, but we have affiliated with the ATC. For us, it just works. And can you explain what that means to affiliate, if there's any covens out there that are looking for this kind of
I sure can.
opportunity?
So the ATC, the Aquarian Tabernacle Church, atcwicca.org, specifically exists to provide big church resources to small local covens and churches. Wiccan churches, if you have a 200-person Wiccan church, it is a huge Wiccan church.
Yeah, that's kind of
Most people have 3 to 7 people in their group. Yeah. If they have 13 to 15 people, they're a really big group. And if they're at 200, they're ridiculous. But 200 people is a small Christian church. And Christians act real differently than pagan churches. So the ATC exists to provide that collective so that we can have big church resources, right? We work together. The ATC is a facilitating body. We're not a governing body. We don't tell people what to do or how to worship. We do make sure that they're legal. Yeah. It's our job to make sure that you don't break any laws and that you don't go to jail and that you don't jeopardize anybody in the community. But we do that by watching like from a distance and being like, hey, that thing over there, you probably shouldn't keep doing that. That's gonna hurt. You know, kind of like Mama saying, get out of the tree, it's dead, that branch is gonna break. They're kind of like that.
But it also protects us too.
Yeah, we're very protective. We try to take care of you. We help you when you have dramas. When people will call us and they'll be like, my high priestess is doing this to me. We call and we help you solve the problem without so much community backlash. We try to help solve witch wars and those kinds of things. We also fight civil rights. This man right here is our legal eagle civil rights activist dude from, like, he was that way when I met him. He had his shirt on inside out. I was like, your shirt's on inside out, dude. He's like, yeah, I don't want to sport this corporate logo.
More power to you.
He's been like that a long time. So this is a perfect
he's in the wrong decade. I feel he would have been a flower child of the 60s.
So would have.
Yeah, that whole thing.
I'll tell on a different Witches of Wine. I'll tell you why Dusty's as young as he is with as old a soul as he has, but it has to do with wanting to. It's a reincarnation thing. I know the whole story. We don't have time for it right now.
Well, just meeting Dusty in person as often as I have and having conversations, I feel I've known him in a past life too. There's been some past.
Yeah, well, I'm sure we all have. You know, we're here to see the apocalypse. We had to have all known each other.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Anyway, so go ahead. I'm sorry.
So we provide software. We have website benefits. You can use the website with themes and stuff. There's there's a big database that affords us a lot of benefits. There's tech. There's tech, and there's tech. Yeah. There's a youth group, Spiral Scout. Well, then there's some tech back there.
Okay.
So There's youth groups called spiralscouts.org.
Yeah.
There's a college Wiccan seminary. We all try to train our people together so that they can know each other, training the future leaders of Wicca. It's not traditional training. It goes hand in hand with your coven. You have your coven training, and then you have college scholarly education, and they work together. We have a Wicca Press. We have a publishing house. We have a newsletter. We have Pagan Information Network. We have all of these institutions that help you do what you need to do so that you don't have to recreate the wheel. You know, you don't have to create this huge conglomerate. You can just work on 8 Sabbats and 13 moons, which, my God, is a lot for any one person to do. And so it's really, it's really helpful to have the ATC and have somebody that you can work with that's not like, now you're us and you have to do how we do. It's you do you, boo, and let's just do it together.
Yeah. And what were you saying?
There was a whole thing a while back in the news about how many holidays pagans took. And it's like, yeah, but you guys, like, pagans don't necessarily take those days off from work.
No.
We just do it in our off time.
Yes.
Like, yeah, there's 8 Sabbats and 13 moons, but that doesn't mean that we're going, sorry, boss, can't come into work today. I've got a full moon to celebrate.
They don't honor that.
We just work it around.
Yeah.
It's half as many as there are Sundays.
Right?
Yeah.
That is very
like,
true.
okay, weekly people.
And that was another a reason why I wanted to affiliate was I know that there is a valid resource that can back us up, because we do live in a city here, and anyone that watches this from Spokane, look, this is my hometown. I grew up here. I get it, but it's a very conservative.
It's the red side of a blue state.
It's very conservative.
It's very red over there.
Yes, and
red side of a blue state.
Red side of a blue state.
I'm gonna say that with my hick accent.
Hey,
with my mason jar.
If she's drinking out of a mason jar.
Wine glass.
I have a story about the last time we went through Spokane. I'm not gonna say it. I can't do it because you're on the red side, because y'all are all in Spokane, but it was involving hats in a store. I can't go into it.
That's okay. My brother had a hat like that, and I threw it in the bush, so he had to find it. But anyway, so I feel protected, and I feel that we are a coven that is very I want us to make a difference in this town. I really do. I want us to be one of, not the only, because there's a whole bunch of pagans in this city.
Yeah, but when you're an ATC group, you are an icon.
Yeah, I want us to be safe. I want us to be out there and put all of those rumors and all of that crap that happens in this town. Lots of witch wars, lots of ego. I want us, and we work with others that are on the same mind, and we work with others that are like that. And I want us to be out there saying, look, this is what we're about. This is what our religion is about. We are fun, but we know what we're doing. And I feel that ATC can really help us with that and really help us reach that goal, because it's important to me. And I'm I don't mind being in the spotlight. I know that's weird. That's a big surprise.
That's a huge shock.
I know, but I
not everyone can pull off Lola.
No, there's a skill. But, I want to do that.
Magnets.
Yes, and I want to be able to have the ATC something strong, valid, and that they can say they obviously have ATC backing them up, so they ain't just playing around. They're so that was why we chose. We know that we've worked with you, we've worked with the school. We know a lot of the ins and outs of what happens behind the curtain. We know a lot of things that it's about organization. There's so much more to being a coven and being a leader than just, I get to play magic all day. I mean, you have to have organization skills. It's a perk.
But that's
it's
not
a perk to get to play witch. It is a perk to get to play witch. But yeah, when you become an ATC affiliate, I experienced that when Covenant of Wise became an affiliate in Georgia. There is an unbelievable amount of witch wars in the Republican states because witches don't prescribe to Republican views for the most part. I mean, there are some Republican witches, but there is a preponderance of, because of our values and priorities and religious beliefs, they just run askance of most Republican views. And so there's a lot of witch wars in that area. And so I experienced a lot of the same thing that you're going through in Spokane with the sides and the crazy. But when we became an ATC affiliate, people were like that. It all of a sudden went from we were just another coven to we were the coven, and people started inviting me as the local priestess to do important things in the city and stuff like
Georgia.
that.
This isn't
This was
Washington.
Georgia 15 years ago. It's pretty amazing to see the difference. So it's such an honor to be the archpriestess and to follow in Pete's footsteps. This is a 40-year-old institution created in 1979, and we have an umbrella exemption that is the same government exemption as the Catholics and the Mormons have. Mm-hmm. So it's a very powerful piece of paper. It gives us a lot of weight with our words with the government, and it's just an honor to be able to protect that and to be able to share those protections with the rest of the community.
Absolutely, and that was one of my biggest reasons why I wanted us to affiliate, was for that protection and also for that reputation. And I feel that it's just a good fit. I mean, we had talked about it for a while, you know, and
we love you guys.
What?
We love you guys. We feel like we're at home when we're there.
Oh, well, clink and drink. Oh, wait, she's empty, but it's okay. Clink and drink for family.
There's no clink in my little box. Let me tell you, since I've started keto, I've lost 30 pounds on keto. I cannot drink. I can't do it.
That's why I choose to stay chubby, so I can still drink my wine. I'm kidding. So before we go, I think we touched upon everything.
Touched it all.
I touched everything.
I touched
every part of this interview.
And I loved it.
So yeah, I mean, anyone who's interested in what we do, not just with the ATC. I mean, I've got all the information if you want to email us. But yeah, if you want to know what we do as a coven, why we do the things we do, you can always email us at
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
What was that email again?
crossroadscoven@gmail.com.
So I want to thank our guest, Belladonna Laveau. Thank you so much. I always have so much fun with you. You're so much fun. And I want to, what I'll do is we'll stop recording and just stay on and say our official goodbyes afterwards. So, and thank you, Dusty. Is he still in the car?
He's still in the car.
I love you guys.
We love you, Dusty.
You're awesome.
And we will see you at Spring Mysteries. Woo! And
Hey, do you have hops for me?
Do we have hops? No, we don't.
We forgot ours too.
Yeah, we all forgot our hops.
We couldn't get them harvested because I was lazy.
Yeah,
I love your honesty.
He's being honest.
That is why we didn't want to start.
I was just going to put it in beer. That's okay.
It's okay.
I did want to ask you guys though, could I do a workshop on Dionysus wine and the concept of deity?
You may want to talk about later.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
Yeah, we'll get you.
A grown-up one, of course.
Yeah. We'll get him in touch with
That's a discussion for a different
workshop. And I hear you guys need a workshop vendor. That's what Sky Faye told me. You still need a workshop coordinator.
We need a workshop coordinator, a Gaia, a healing temple coordinator. There's a few things that we still need.
I see, and this is what happens, Bella. I'm like, we're gonna just go as pilgrims. We're not gonna do anything. I'm like,
You know what, Lola? if you were the kind of person who was just gonna go and just be a pilgrim, you wouldn't be the high priestess of a coven. You just
No.
you see a need and you want to help, and the helping makes you feel good. I don't enjoy going to a gathering where I'm just taking. I want to give. I want to help, because through helping I get to meet everybody and make relationships. It's about serving the goddess. It's not about going and receiving. It's about going and being a part of the community.
Well,
So I'll be surprised.
And I do still want to DJ, because music is my passion, and radio and all that. I want to do stuff. And
do it.
Yeah. So, all right. So, thank you so much. And remember, everyone, to always be kind to one another. Walk with the goddess. And until next time, blessed be. Have a good night, everyone. All right. I don't know how to stop the recording. Oh, here we go.
We'll figure out how to stop
recording. Yeah.
Bella loves you.